Okay, we are live now.
Greetings to one and all who have joined us today. I welcome you all to the closing ceremony of Technex 21. We are extremely elated and gratified to have with us a chief guest for the ceremony, India's Sherpa to the G7 and G20, Shri Suresh Prabhu. We also have with us the Dean of Students Affairs, Dr. Lal Pratap Singh, the Counselor of Technex 21, Dr. Rajesh Upadhyay, the Convener Technex 21, Mr. Suyash Ratna, and the General Secretary of the Science and Technology Council, Mr. Jatin Agrawal. I would like to invite the Dean, Students Affairs, Dr. Lal Pratap Singh, to address the gathering. Sir.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I personally and on behalf of Indian Institute of Technology, Banaras Hindu University, would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to Sri Suresh Prabhu ji for sparing time in his busy schedule and to become chief guest of this August function and give opportunity to interact our students with his valuable suggestions, words. Thank you, sir, once again. Also, on behalf of Indian Institute of Technology, BHU Varanasi, I want to thank everyone who has devoted their invaluable time to make Technex an enormous success and has kept on the 82nd year legacy of Asia's oldest techno-management fest. Sir, it was not possible to arrange this festival in this pandemic COVID-19 time, but with due efforts and lot of hard work has been put by our students, and they tried to manage all the things and arrange it virtually. I really congratulate them from my heart. Also, I was taken aback to see the overwhelming participation from the student side, which added the charisma to the event even more. The plethora of the events which took place this year never failed to instill the students and educate them in most enjoyable way. And I hope the students found Technex 21 experience entertaining, educating, and engaging. I also want to significantly thank all the great personalities who made the think talks galvanizing, influencing, informating, and also fun for the students. We are very delighted to have Mr. Suresh Prabhu to join us on this special occasion. Here I would like to mention one quote that if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. So I think from this fest, they will dream more, they will learn more, they will do more, of course, doing something, illustrating something in his life. So I hope that the students have not only enjoyed this Technex 21 function, but they have learned a lot and they have got a lot of inspiration from the think talk or other talks by the eminent personalities. So again, I intend to end this speech by thanking everyone who has joined us in this incredible journey of the Technex 21 and made it a remarkable one. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for the address. Now, our chief guest for today, Shri Suresh Prabhu, is an Indian politician and India's emissary to the G7 and G20. He was formerly the Minister of Railways, Minister of Commerce and Industry, and Civil Aviation. He also held various ministries during 1998 to 2004 under the premiership of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. He is a chartered accountant by profession and a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Since 1996, he has been repeatedly elected as a member of parliament from the Rajapur Lok Sabha constituency in Maharashtra. Presently, he represents Andhra Pradesh in the Rajya Sabha. He has also been the chairman of the Task Force on Interlinking of the Rivers project. His belief that all projects can be taken to the logical fruition with a clear blueprint and a stipulated deadlines make him stand out from the crowd. He is a true reformer. Now let's hear from the man himself. I invite Shri Suresh Prabhu ji to address the audience. Sir.
So thank you very much, and I really thank all of you, my young friend, whether it is Aishwarya. Aishwarya is bringing a lot of, anyway, Aishwarya to everybody. Also Mr. L.P. Singh, Rajesh Upadhyay ji, and many of my young friends whom I cannot see all of them on my screen, whether it is Swesh Ratna, so it is full of, as I was saying, so all the diamonds of the student community are here. So I was just saying, I'm very happy by the invitation that you extended to me. And I've been to your campus a few times. I remember when I was a railway minister, we had requested IIT Varanasi, you're Varanasi, to actually work with us. And we were very lucky to have you as a partner at that time to upgrade the railways into the technological foray of the world. And therefore, I'm very happy that I'm here to address you. Well, the great institution has always been shining, and the very purpose of existence of the university when it was founded was completely different than many other education institutions. And I'm very glad that legacy is being carried forward by all of you. And university is known by the campus, obviously, always, but more importantly, by the students and the faculty. The university can always make progress when these both students and faculty are as good as they should be. And that's how the university progresses. I'm very happy to note that university always is blessed with good faculty and also has very good students. And some of them I can see on the screen. So thank you very much, and congratulations for doing something good for this institution. I would request you that rather than me giving you a long lecture, which normally Singh Saab, if you had invited me as a faculty, I will have to do, because as a faculty I have to complete 45 and 50 minutes. In fact, I used to also take lectures for Institute of Management. Then I used to take 90 minutes lecture. But I would, today what I'm going to do, if with your permission, will not take a long lecture. I will speak short, but I will answer all your questions so that they will be more interactive and better. Is it okay? So that will give us more time for us to also understand from you what you want to know exactly. As I can understand, the topic is the role of youth in putting India on the track of $10 trillion economy. Is that what it is? So, Aishwarya, this is the topic, right? Okay. So, let me begin by saying what is the significance of, say, $10 trillion? World is always keep expanding, growing. The economies keep growing. But lately, having accepted US dollar as a reserved economy, many of the things get denominated in US dollars. Therefore, it is obvious that comparison will be made about growth of any economy into US dollar denomination. We have larger economies than India today. US is the largest. China is racing very fast towards becoming the largest, and today is second largest. If you go by PPP, purchasing power parity, then China is already probably the largest. The third is Japan, which has been relegated to the third number when China started growing so fast. And the largest economy of the Europe, Germany is number 4, and we are number 5. So we are close to $2.9 trillion economy, 2.8 to $2.9 trillion, because there was a contraction last year thanks to COVID. And when we are $2.5 trillion economy, I was a commerce and industry minister. And we wanted to know if India grows, has to grow faster. And how fast we grow, it will depend upon how we'll reach this 10 trillion or whatever we have decided. But that time, we said if we double the economy, it will become 5 trillion. And if we double again, it will become 10 trillion. And that's how the 10 trillion number came in. That means doubling and becoming 4 times of what we were at that time, that is 2.5 trillion, we become $10 trillion economy. Now, even if you become 10 trillion, and that time, say our population is 1.5 or to 1.6 billion, still will be little above $7,000 per capita. So today, we are about 2.3 to $2,300 per capita. So we'll become about three and a half times more than that, what at that particular time. Mind you, still will be short of becoming 10,000 per capita economy. And if you really look at it, that's not something exceptionally well, but still better than what we were, because we were about $200 economy for a long time, per capita for a long time. $250, $500, that's all. And now we are becoming, aspiring to be that is something great. But still, it is not as great as it should be. We should be even larger than that. So when we talk about these numbers of 10 trillion, we should be clear about it, that why this 10 trillion came from. That's what I'm trying to explain, where it is come from, doubling it. And from 2.5 to 5, 5 to 10. And in perspective, the size of economy, and if you go down to per capita income, what it means, I just wanted to explain that to you. Thirdly, if we grow, the rate of growth will decide. Like for example, when US grows at 3%, it's significant because it's so large economy. So 3% is big. For India to become double the size of the economy, growing at 8-9% per year is very important. And to grow 8.9% is going to be now a very challenging task, because we already contracted. The world economy is slowing down, so we have to keep that in mind. Now just coming to this point of economy. What is economy? One, as I said, all the incomes of the people of India put together is economic size. GNP, gross national product. Or you can look at it the other way around. That economy is aggregation of industry, output of industry, services, and agriculture, all put together. So we have to make sure that if you want to get more and more economic output for the country, so that we become larger economy, we have to keep increasing each and every ingredient that constitutes India's economy. I had prepared a roadmap as Commerce and Industry Minister for a $5 trillion economy. There's no point preparing a roadmap for 10 trillion at that particular time, because when we reach 5 trillion, so many things would have changed, so we'll make on 5 trillion. So what was how we prepared the $5 trillion? We said India's industry currently constitutes to 16% of India's GDP. 16%. So we said, let us take to 20%. So 20% of the GDP must come from industry. 20% of $5 trillion economy. That makes it $1 trillion. So how would you make that $1 trillion output from industry? So we worked with all industry organizations, with the top players who are actually into industry and manufacturing, and prepared a complete detailed map about how much will that come from. How much will come from different segments of that $1 trillion industry. Will mean cement, will mean steel, will mean automobiles, which many other things. So all of that put together, how we'll get $1 trillion output. Secondly, to make that, we have prepared a new industrial policy for India. That new industrial policy was put into public domain. I had several roadshows with different parts of the country, solicited opinions and feedback from different segments. And that is how we have prepared it. We had said that we'll remove the restrictions, unwarranted restrictions from the industry so that they can grow. The industry can grow because of entrepreneurship. We have a Startup India program started by Prime Minister Modi. In the startup program, we can always see the new ideas, like the person who is sitting in front of me is a young boy, less than 20 or just about 20. And he's the one who is maybe not so much advanced in age, but has advanced mind. He can think about new ideas. He will bring in new component to industry. So industrial growth will come from normal traditional industries, but will come from new industries, from startup. Also, I had said in my industrial policy that industrial growth will come from one is traditional industries, but most of it will come from new industries, new ideas. So one is the Startup India, which is the young boys, young girls will start and think about different things. The other one is new industry. Which are those new industries? So we try to identify them. At that time, there was no COVID at that time. I talk about 3 years ago. I had prepared more than 3 years, 4 years ago. I had actually prepared pharmaceutical, medical equipment as the new industry. All emerging technologies, blockchain, Internet of Things, big data, all of them, machine learning, all of these we had said will be the ones we should drive India's future growth. So industry will grow from different angles. Traditional industries must be allowed to grow. Second, startups, which will also become over a period of time, they will become also large industries. Like Google has become big when they started from a garage. So that is second stream. And third stream will also be the new sectors, new industries, which will be dominating the world more than the traditional industries as we go along. So all of these three will add to it. To make that happen, we must allow the industrial growth to happen naturally. We should not try to put undue restrictions, put unproductive hurdles in the minds, in the way of people realizing this possibility. So we had said, we put all this into place. If we do that, the big challenge, I must mention it now, for the world, not first for India, is as we are on the threshold of the fourth industrial revolution. Fourth industrial revolution will be dominated by technology. And we cannot avoid it. You cannot say that technology should not come into India. That will be most ridiculous thing to do. At the same time, when technology-driven growth is going to happen, this has some social implications. How will you make sure that This will create jobs for the people, because ultimately the economic growth, the industrial development, all of that must happen for the good of the people. Ultimately, we should be clear about $5 trillion, $10 trillion, all the number that we talk about. If they are not related to the aspirations of the people, if they are not going to benefit the people, how would that actually happen? So we had said that we must focus on employment. And to create that employment, it's going to be a very important thing. So to do that, we must have a different kind of approach. And I'll come to it later. Just remind me in case, because I'm not reading a speech, I'm speaking from my heart. So just remind me in case I forget it. But how grassroots growth will propel India's growth story at the macro level. I'll just mention it. So we have to be clear that creation of job is going to be an extremely important issue for India. And therefore, growing from 16 to 20% is very important. But more importantly, how can that add more jobs to people? In fact, this is a very important issue and we'll have to keep in mind. And this is what is happening globally. Over the last few years, few decades, we have been seeing the economic growth globally does not necessarily mean that is adding more jobs. And that is what is creating another big problem. Because while we are growing, economies are becoming bigger, but job markets are becoming smaller. People are not finding jobs to their own liking. That is again important thing. One is getting job. So people can get some sort of income. That is very important, very good. But other challenge is getting jobs of the liking of the people. So when you're studying in such a prestigious institution, now you'll obviously be expecting that you should get job commensurate with your knowledge, experience, expertise, and expectation. If you want to do that, we have to also have a diversified economy. That's going to be a very important challenge about each and every segment of people must be able to find the job of their choosing. That is what we must try to work on. And that's what $10 trillion economy should be aspiring to be doing that. While we do this, as I was saying, the fourth industrial revolution, the new technology, we have to now invest into intellectual property rights in a big way. Intellectual property rights are protected by law. There is international agreement called TRIPS, trade-related intellectual property rights, where we protect. What is important is how do you allow more and more patents to be filed, more and more research and development should take place. How can we link institutions like yours with the future of the world? How can we do that? And that's what I was saying when I was the Minister of Railways. I had tried to work on a transformation of railways on technological grounds. So we were using technology at an unprecedented level in the railways. And I'm very happy that it is continuing. And I am very happy that if railways can become a technology-driven organization, so which will deliver better for the customers, but also will be able to transform India, because railway is a lifeline of India. So technology-driven growth will be very important. And each and every aspect of the $10 trillion economy must be technology driven. And therefore, I had involved your institution into the railways transformation plan. I can clearly see that future when we'll be $10 trillion, that will happen, say, about 15, 16 years from now, or even longer and shorter, depending upon the rate of growth. But when that will happen, can you imagine the world? It will be so much more technology driven than what it is today. As it is, we are seeing every day in the market, new devices comes in. But the devices is something which we use as a product. But that is driven by so many different technologies which go into making that product. So now the few world is going to be, when we become 10 trillion, will be so much dominated by technology that we'll have to be up there. Therefore, our investment to research and development will have to be very, very high to realize this possibility of India dominating and becoming, forget domination, becoming relevant, becoming important player into this whole sphere of things. So we must have a technology-driven issue. So I'm very happy that your institution will be also playing a role into that. I'm glad that you are studying technology, some of them. I'm sure some of them will be studying liberal arts and others. But I'm very happy that we'll be doing that and we'll be working on that. The second element of India's GDP growth will come from services. Services, as it is, it dominate India's GDP. It is almost 60% of today's GDP. So just imagine we want to keep it at 60% of the proposed $5 trillion economy. I have prepared a map. The 12 champion sectors will have to be given a lot of push. Because ultimately, 5 trillion will happen. And this 60% of that means 3 trillion will happen. But what is that in services? Which of those services will make it happen? As you know, services means telecommunication. Services means hospitality. Services means information technology. Services means hospitals and many others, chartered accountants, lawyers, doctors, all their services. But we identified 12 champion sectors, including tourism and others, and we said that we'll find 5,000 crores. I'm very happy, thankful to Prime Minister that we could get 5,000 crores for the Commerce Industry Ministry to push 12 champion sectors of services. Idea was these services will boost India's GDP. And as you know, I'm talking about jobs. The services have more potential to create jobs than industry. Because services are more driven by people. Manufacturing is going to be driven more by technology. So a lot of people work for development of technology. But services, delivery stage itself will need people, more people. So unlike industry, on shop floor we may need less people. In case of services at a cutting edge, when we deliver it, we'll need more people than industry. So we prepared this map for services. I'm very happy that I could convince the states, could talk to the colleague ministries and focus on this service-driven economic growth for India, which will also create more jobs for the people of India. That is very, very important. The third element is agriculture. And agriculture is today's main employment provider for the people. And when we say agriculture, it includes agriculture, horticulture, which includes dairying, which includes fisheries, which is also including meat and many others. And therefore, I prepared a first agriculture export policy for India, first ever, to take India's agriculture export from $26 billion today to about $100 billion. Because just imagine, if farmers have to given more income, which is very important, that can only happen when we actually bring agriculture export. Otherwise, what happens is when you produce more, the prices fall. Because in the domestic market, not necessarily because the prices have fallen, people are going to eat more. The propensity to eat is not necessarily commensurate with the prices. Therefore, unless we export, the farmers will not benefit. Because that excess production which depresses the prices, if it is taken out of domestic market and exported out, farmers will get more money because the domestic prices are not fallen, but also they'll get money because foreign markets may buy it at even higher price. So therefore, we have to work on the strategy which I had prepared, India's first ever agriculture export policy, which I could prepare as the Commerce Industry Minister, thankful to the Prime Minister, which was approved by the Cabinet also. In agriculture, we must have a new thinking in agriculture. Technology, new products, using less land, less water for more production, using such fertilizers which will not damage our topsoil, which will also create products which will not affect the health of the people, because people eat agriculture products and they should not become sick. All of this should be kept in mind. And when we are thinking about exports, we must also keep in mind the quality. Because we should not only keep quality in mind for exports alone, it should also be concerned about our own people. So quality is going to be an extremely important thing. And when we say agriculture is a linkage with industry. If you do agro-processing, it becomes industry. But agriculture growth will also help growth in services. It will help service growth in production, in industry. So agriculture is very, very important part of India's growth story. Though only 14% of India's GDP comes from agriculture, only 14%. But idea Therefore, in my $5 trillion economy, I prepared that it should be taken to 20%, which includes agriculture and allied industry. So agriculture should contribute in this proposed $5 trillion economy. 20%, that means another $1 trillion. So the idea was 1 trillion from industry, 3 trillion from services, $1 trillion from agriculture. I was just mentioning, and I think I'll just mention it here, and then I think because, as I said, we have to close at about 4, so we'll keep about 15-20 minutes for questioning, answering. So I will just mention a very important aspect. I gave you these numbers, which are macro numbers. At macro level, at national level, how India's GDP should look like. Another important element is at a micro level. I was telling you that growth must benefit people. Where do people live? They live in villages. They live in districts. So the growth of district should be the criteria for growing India's economy. So I had prepared a plan that each and every district of India grows at 3 or 4% more than what it is growing today. India's GDP can grow faster. And unless it grows faster, how will we reach this $5 trillion or $10 trillion economy? The rate of growth will decide how soon we reach there. And to reach there, the rate of growth has to be accelerated. What is the strategy for rate of growth? I give you a macro level strategy. If we can make each and every district of India grow at 3 and 4% more. So district-led growth was a new strategy that was adopted, and I launched it for 6 districts of India. One in the north, which incidentally is Varanasi. One in south, which is Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. One in west, Sindhudurga Ratnagiri district in Maharashtra, west coast of India. And incidentally, Visakhapatnam is on the east coast of India. And on west, in east, it was, east, what I was mentioning was west was Varanasi. East was Muzaffarpur in Bihar. South was Visakhapatnam. And west was Maharashtra. And one district we took from Solan in Himachal, just for representative understanding about how the hilly districts will work. Because we had taken coastal district, we wanted to know about a hilly district. And we asked Indian Institute of Management, National Council for Applied Economic Research to prepare a roadmap. Also, to understand basic things. Just imagine, if the districts start growing at 3 or 4% more, ultimately aggregation of district will be the India GDP. So all districts grow at 3 or 4% higher than what it is today. This will bring in automatically a new boost to India GDP. But more importantly, it will benefit people first. So there is no need for afterthought of inclusive growth, which comes much after the growth has happened. The growth will be happening at the same time as the people will be benefiting. So we don't have to do anything subsequent to growth, but we'll integrate growth and social development together. And that's why we decided to do that. We launched geographical indicators, wherein each district has a very unique identity products. Their own identity is reflected in the district that makes those products. If you have connection with them, geographical indications, they will automatically give more money to people. But we prepared a detailed strategy for every district. In fact, I am going to be doing this in the next few days, the program, to actually relaunch it so that we actually don't lose focus of this. These are the various ideas we need to put in place for India to be $10 trillion economy. But more importantly, while we do all this, the income growth should benefit people at large. So it should be widely dispersed income. It should not happen $10 trillion economy would have only 10, 20, 30, 100 billionaires. But we must have each and every person of India should benefit. The basic amenities, the basic needs of people, the basic requirement of common man should be met because of this. We should be able to give quality education, quality healthcare. We must have infrastructure. And infrastructure will play a key role in growth of India's economy. And I will tell you, because I was mentioning as the railway minister, each and every aspect of railway's future development was mentioned by me in 2 railway budget that I presented. And I'm glad that government recently It's come out with 2030 vision for railways, which includes all these points which I had mentioned publicly in 2 documents I presented to the parliament. I had mentioned $140 billion of investment to railways through this program. That was just a starting point. We need probably 5 times, 10 times of this amount. And infrastructure growth is very critical. And that is how the quality of lives of people will improve. The quality of roads, quality of railways. The first time you can go and see the railway stations becoming cleaner. You can see when you go to the railways, you can see that you can order the food on electronically. You can get book tickets electronically. You can get different kind of coaches now are running in the railways, which one ever imagined 5 years ago, 7 years ago. But when we started doing that, people saying, how will it happen? But today is the reality because we started all this by changing the quality of infrastructure of India. Therefore, I am very sure that Prime Minister Modi, as a Prime Minister, has given a vision that India should become a larger economy than what it is today. And I'm sure we'll become that with this quality infrastructure, driving it, but also making sure that people should benefit from it. So we must have skilling program. I will share with you one of the programs that we launched. My wife is heading it 25 years ago, called Manav Sadhan Vikas Sanstha. If anybody is interested, you can go to the website www.msvs.org.in. We are trained 100,000 people for self-employment. Quality education is very important, but also people at grassroots level, at a village level, they can be given jobs by self-employment, by training them into different skills. That is what we should try to do. And I'm very happy that the new education policy is now focusing on it. But we started 25 years ago when unfortunately there was no such good education policy. And today I can clearly see that India's growth must also have social equity. It should not create only billionaires, but also benefit people. So it should be widely spread, widely enjoyed, and widely beneficial growth to the society. That's how the $10 trillion economy should be. And to do all this, we must ensure that in the next few years' time, we focus on human beings as the center of growth of the country. They should be the driving force, and they should be the biggest beneficiary. The common man must benefit in healthcare and education, in all forms of different kinds of infrastructure. And that is how we'll see the next few years' time, India will be the leader in different segments, thanks to the growth that will happen in India's new strategy that we are working on. So I'm very happy that we are working on together, and I'm very glad that you kept this topic for discussion, which is so important. How youth can get involved. See, youth is the future. There's no doubt about it. I'm the old man, so I'm the past. You will build it, you will drive it, and I hope you enjoy it. But to do that, we have to involve youth into decision-making processes. You should be the one who should decide what is good for you. I should not be deciding for my son what is good for him. I can guide him, but I cannot decide for him. Same way as a young generation, you should be guided by the older people, but you should be deciding your own destiny, your own fortune, your own future. And therefore, I think the $10 trillion economy, the youth should decide the future. So I'm very happy that university like yours, a top-class institution like yours, has decided to organize this program. I suggest you also prepare a roadmap. What in that 10 trillion role of technology should be. Each and every department of university in IIT like yours can work on that. Prepare roadmaps. I'll be very happy to come physically to your campus, which I come before, and work with you so that we together as youth, you as youth and we as contributing towards it, can actually contribute to the growth of India's future, which is far better and should be better than what it is today. So as I promised, I think I must have spoken for more than half an hour already. I will stop here and will request you to ask me question. I think if you can close at 4 will be ideal because I have to go for other program. So I stop here so that we have enough time for Q&A. Thank you very much. and really appreciate all my young friends for participating, all the faculty for providing support. And this is a very important IIT program in which you are talking about it, think, what do you call it as think or something, isn't it? Think, so I'm very happy that Think Talk, TechX21. So I think very happy that thinking is the driving force for your program. Because if you don't think, how will you act? And if you act without thinking, it's the most disastrous thing to do. So this is a very important series. I'm very honored by the fact that you invited me. I know much better people than me, much more intellectually advanced people than me have participated in this program. And I can only say that I'm honored to be in part of this series in which so many different people have already contributed significantly, far, far better than what I have done. So congratulations. Thank you very much. Looking forward to working with you.
Thanks a lot, sir. We are also very happy to have you here. We have a lot of questions from the students. So the first question, like you talked about, startup would play a key role in the growth of India. So a major problem hindering India's overall development is the problem of brain drain. So do you think the measures taken by the government are sufficient to solve this? And what other steps as a country we could take to tackle this problem, the problem of brain drain?
This is a old phenomena. When we are thinking that the brain is not located in India, that means a drain on India's resources. Now, brain may be located anywhere. The benefit can accrue to people anywhere in the country. For example, just see whether you use top-ended medical technology for curing people. Does it matter that the person who developed it has to be Indian or has to be located in India? So if some of our people are going abroad, enhancing their knowledge, widening the canvas of their own ideas, as long as they're Indians at heart and thinking about India, that's very important. So therefore, the brain drain should be now looked at in a different way. So I think brain drain, somebody was saying brain drain to brain gain, possible. You can make it a gain in a way that you work anywhere, but try to contribute to India. Now, some of these Nobel laureates nowadays who get in chemistry, physics, some of them are Indian origin. We take pride in saying, see, India has got a Nobel Prize. Though actually now the citizenship may be US or Europe somewhere, but still they are from Indian origin. So just imagine, this is very important, that how can we encourage people with new ideas, maybe located anywhere, how can we use their knowledge and ideas for India's growth? So that's something which we try to build new partnership between the people with brains with how to make it gain for the country. So this is what new ideas we should try to develop rather than discouraging people from going. See, therefore, if you discourage them, he will not grow. Why should you do that? In fact, if, for example, I'm sure some of you will like to go out and work somewhere else. Why not? You go and work wherever you want to work. But when you work there, if you can still think for India and India can benefit from you by working with you, that's very important. So I think we should try to develop that.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, what challenges did you face while implementing the National Natural Resource Management System, the NNRMS scheme?
So, this is a very important thing, is that the future growth of $10 trillion economy must focus on environment. Otherwise, what happens is the economic growth, if it happens at the expense of natural capital, and if we lose environmental resources at a rate faster than when we grow economically, we'll have a disaster in the making. So environment is a very important thing, and we must manage it in proper way, whether it's water, whether it is land, whether it is biodiversity, all resources should be managed in such a way that it enhances quality of life. If quality of life gets compromised because of losing environment, then we are actually not gaining, but we are losing. So I think this is a very important thing. I was a Minister of Environment and Forest. I've faced many of these challenges. If I want to explain that to you in detail, it will take another matter of few lecture series, not just a lecture. But I can tell you something, that environment is the most important thing. And in the next future growth of India's economy, we'll have to factor everything from environmental perspective. All that is not environment friendly will never be sustainable, and therefore the investment in that will go waste. Climate change is already putting at risk all our infrastructure investments. So climate proofing our future growth is very important. Making sure that we grow without emitting too much of greenhouse gases is very important. And to do all this, I think we'll have to work in a way that each and every aspect of environmental management has to be taken into consideration. The environment management happens at a village level. People know their environment better. So we'll have to keep them as the center of environmental strategy. So management plan must keep in mind that needs, aspirations, requirement of local people. People can protect environment better than anybody else. So we should not ignore the concerns of local population when we're dealing with environment. And that's the best way to implement environment management plan.
As you were the railway minister, there is a question about railways as well. So, as more and more routes of the railways are being privatized, how do you think the government will ensure that these companies focus on connectivity rather than profit?
Oh, see, this is a very important issue. We'll have to, railway is not just another infrastructure. It is actually dealing with the lives of millions of people. And for most of them, most of those who travel by railways, that's the only available mode of transport for them. So it has to be affordable at all times to come. It should be comfortable, which was never thought in the previously. But when I presented the first budget, I talked about comfort of passengers as a customer, not a passenger, but as a customer, as a focus of that. That should be kept in mind. So if you want to privatize, you should keep this in mind that anything that happens must benefit the people first. Anything that goes against the people's interest will not be long-term sustainable. So we'll have to make that for sure. I had announced in the parliament that any time railways will have to keep in mind the larger public interest, larger public good, and will never have to, can never compromise with the interest of the larger section of society.
You also talked about the importance of papers, patents, intellectual IP. So, my next question is, the budget allocation on research is increasing, but on ground level, it is very difficult for a student to register for a patent. India has a number of research papers, but a very less number of patents as compared to USA or China. So, what steps is the government taking or is going to take regarding the same?
No, you're absolutely right. We'll have to do a lot more. In fact, again, I will tell you, I was dealing partly with the patent office. So it's not registration process. So we modernized it, we made it easier. But what you are asking is a very, very important thing. That if we do not immediately, so already time has run out, try to upgrade our ability to file more IPs. We'll never be in the race. And in fact, the future is technology driven. And if you are not technology, and if you say we are good in technology, but no patent, no research papers, no products, how can we say that we are good in that? So we'll have to very quickly rise about it. And it's very important. All the organizations of the government will have to gear up with that. We'll have to encourage more and more research. We'll have to actually celebrate scientific achievements and try to encourage even young students like you to keep filing paper. In fact, it is another reality that we must realize that new ideas will not come from 60, 70 years old man. It can, but not necessarily. It will come from young man like 17 and 18-year-old boy also. We must accept that. We must respect that. We must encourage that. And we must acknowledge that reality and therefore have gear up the entire system to make that happen. Research institutions will have to encourage young ideas, young minds to be part of that process. And all of that has to be geared up very quickly. We are already running out of time. So this is very, very important.
The next question is, the government's much coveted production linked incentive scheme seems hobbled in its first year itself. So, why do you think that a nation is still far from becoming one of the more attractive manufacturing destinations of the world?
This is a very good scheme. We should actually encourage and we should try to focus on that because this will ensure that we, in particular segment, we can grow faster. I think it's a very, very important thing. And I think this is one of the very important component of what I was talking about first, as increasing India's share of GDP into manufacturing. I was mentioning my first point itself. So this PLI, production linked incentive, is very important, very interesting scheme. I think that will really help us. Today we have no choice but to attract investment into these segments by making like this. So I am very sure this will allow us to leapfrog into higher end of technology, in particular products, and that will really help us. So like for example, when you talk about pharmaceutical, you must need basic chemicals. We need bulk drugs to manufacture, and this will also focus on that. So therefore, I think in electronics, we are importing a lot of electronics. Why not we export electronics? So this all will really benefit.
Now, as you talked about inclusivity, including the common people of India. So our next question is based on that. So the government is consistently trying to make a digital revolution in our country across all sectors. So considering the current literacy rate of India and how a majority of people find it difficult to interact with technology, so do you think how difficult or easy do you think it would be for people to accept technology, particularly for trade and business?
See, when you talk about technology, it doesn't mean very high-end technology. See, even agriculture needs technology. Even home delivery is a technology-driven idea. Suppose you can say it's a technology. So technology for good of people, you can say recycling of water is a technology issue, which will benefit common people. So technology should not be seen as a threat to common people. Technology should be seen as an aid to improving lives of common people. And that is why even technology development, we should keep that in mind, that how common man will benefit from that. And that is how the society will then become a strong champion, the votary of technological development. That is very important. So we should always keep that in mind, which will be very useful. So I think my request was we can close at about 4 will be ideal, not just Q&A, but a program. So just plan it accordingly.
Yeah, so this would be my last question. This is regarding the current scenario, the COVID scenario. So what do you think would be the position of India in the world after the COVID scenario?
See, as it is, in a way, India has been recognized as first. Before development of vaccine, it was formulation, which India was exporting to many countries, including you'll be surprised that Europe and America was receiving formulations from India. And now the vaccine, we are already given to more than 70, 80 countries. So India is recognized as a good source for manufacturing pharmaceuticals and vaccines and many others. So this is one part of that. The second part will be that post-corona, now this is going to be a big change in global thinking. America, which is already thinking about buy American products. So the new world is changing. From America, a country which used to always talk about open society, open economy, is now talking about buy American, be American. America first. So all others comes not second, but much later. So that is how the policies are changing. So in that context, we'll have to figure out how will India benefit. And therefore, I had set up a group under chairmanship of Surjit Bhalla, who is presently India's executive director in the World Indian IMF, International Monetary Fund, which included also India's present foreign minister, who was then working with the Tatas. And I had prepared a group of people to prepare a roadmap for India's future in this world. That time there was no corona. But how do you make that happen? That recommendations are there. I had worked on it hard. So I think we should try to implement all this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving your time to us. Now, I would request the convener, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, to give the vote of thanks. Uh, you're not audible, Suyesh.
You're to unmute.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you, Suresh Prabhu sir, for the mesmerizing speech. it is now fair to conclude that Technex 21 was a success. Behind this success lies colossal efforts of many people. I owe my gratitude to our respected director, sir, Dosa, sir, counselor, sir, for extending their wholesome support towards the fest. I owe much appreciation and gratitude to the PR, marketing, publicity, design, tech, events, creative workshops, content and branding teams and to all the seniors for their massive efforts that made the events and the fest engrossing and compelling. In turn, making the fest flourish and prosper. I also thank all the avid participants for such a zealous competition and their ardent participation. In this crisis of COVID-19, which has created a havoc for all of us to conduct our country is one of the largest fests, and to maintain its dignity and decorum. Being a convener, I had a great responsibility to conduct this fest virtually in a successful manner and make the institute proud of the results. The journey was full of hurdles since it was the very first time in a virtual manner. Every work which we could do physically had been done at home. There were challenges in front of us in the form of online publicity, expanding the reach, technical glitches like we just witnessed right now, and arranging every event to be such so that it can be accessed from home and to incite the zest in all the participants. But irrespective of the impediments faced, we rose as a phoenix from the ashes of obstacles and failures and came along our way. As truly said, obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. In fact, figure out how to climb, go through it and work around it, because success is rented and the rent is due every day. Our ceaseless efforts have paid off, and hence I auspiciously conclude the closure of this grand fest, Technex 21. Thank you all for the constant and persistent support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Suresh, sir, for giving us a valuable time. Thanks a lot. Now I would request the convener, Suyash Ratna, to begin with the prize distribution ceremony.
Yes, so we have the prizes of the events which were concluded, and some of the events are still going on. So for Pixelate, we have at the first position, we have Team B11, Sandeepan, Raghavansh, Akula. At the second position, we have Team Ultronics, Apurv, Rishabh, Nitesh. And at the third position, we have Team HPS, Harshit, Piyush, and Vecha. Congratulations for Robonex. At the first position, we have Tech.zip. At the second position, we have Robenthus. At the third position, we have RoboGang. Congratulations to all the participants. And for Drone Tech, at the first position, we have Team Solaris, Pratik Mishra, Utkarshit Singh, and Lathashri. At the second position, we have Team ETA 002, Utkarsh Pandey, Shrikar Verma, and Pratik. At the third position, we have Electric Titans, Pratyush, Musharraf, and Lakshit Vyas. At the third, for the Aviator Challenge, at the first position, we have Team Vyom, Vedang, Nehi, Pranav. At the second position, we have Aerostars, Team Aerostars, Abhipashit, Muddaf, Krishta, and Rudra. At the third position, we have Team Tornado, Param, Himanshu, and Priyesh. Now for Explica, the Explica event, at the first position, we have Team Pioneers, Ritika, Gaurav, Meg, Dokania. At the second position, we have the team of Scrutinizers, Rajashri Reddy, Rudhir Pamar, and Ariman Joshi. At the third position, we have Unit Tensor, Ayush Kumar, Ayush Chaudhary, and Vinayak. Congratulations, everyone. And for the Analyst City event, at the first position, we have Gradient Descenders, Sudeep, Rahul, and Anand. At the second position, we have Team SAS, Shashwat, Vikram, and Kshitij. And at the third position, we have Team Prayas, Rishit, Shrishti, and Harsh. So these are the results which have been updated till now. Okay, so there are a few more results which came in just now. For Techno Conundrum, the overall winners are Pratik and Utkarsh, Sherlock Homeless, Team Sherlock Holmes. At the second position, we have Naman Joshi, Mycroft. At the third position, we have Vedant and Shivangi, Shikhar and Madhav. There is a tie at the third position. And the last event whose result has been declared is Sustainnovation. At the first position, we have Sustainable Devices, Suyash Tripathi, Vishal Das, Babak Mohanty. At the second position, we have Firefighters, Prayag Chaudhary, Preeti Kumari. At the third position, we have Team Bio T-Trad, Ayush Chakravarti and Vinayak. So congratulations to all the winners. The results would be uploaded at our social media handles as well.
Thank you, Bhaiya, and congratulations to all the participants. In the end, I would like to thank our counselor, Dr. Rajesh Upadhyay, the Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. L.P. Singh, the convener of Technex 21, Mr. Suyesh Ratna, and Mr. Jatin Agarwal, the General Secretary of the Science and Technology Council. Thank you everyone for your constant availability and your constant support. Without you all, this event would not have been possible. Thanks a lot.